He was one of the toughest and most feared footy players we've ever seen. Now, Carl Webb's body is slowly failing him. At just 39, he has motor neurone disease. Tonight, Carl speaks for the first time about his new mission to ease the burden on all MND patients.
It is everyday things that you do that you struggle with that this condition takes hold of.
Webb goes forward. Webb's over. Webb's over.
He's just as inspiring now as he was when he was playing footy.
He's just a little pocket battleship.
We keep getting back up and charging at it and not about to roll over.
And I just think that that's amazing that he's using his profile to be assisting other people with MND.
I really want to do something while I can.
On the footy field, few could match Carl Webb's toughness. This is Webb again on Bailey. A State of Origin hero ever since scoring this famous try for Queensland on debut back in 2001. The 20-year-old, he's gone in to score. Carl Webb. 187 games in the NRL, 12 in Origin and 1 for Australia. Carl Webb did it all. But now he's facing a battle against an invisible opponent, one that's slowly attacking him from inside.
How did you find out you had motor neurone disease?
The early signs for me was just the weakness, loss of strength, dexterity and just fine motor skills through my hands.
The 39-year-old was diagnosed earlier this year, at the time working as a miner with his football days well behind him.
What did you first think when they told you you had MND?
I didn't know what to think, to tell you the truth. I just, I'd never known a lot about the condition itself, never knew anyone with it. I just knew it was bad news.
It didn't take him long to start researching about how this awful disease takes hold.
All of that was really confronting, and it still is confronting. I'm still quite capable at the moment and independent. However, I'm under no illusions to what's to come in the future.
MND affects nerve cells that control the muscles that enable you to move, speak, breathe and swallow. Right now, Carl Webb's movement is fine. Those calf muscles could still be ready for Origin, but it's his hands that are affected.
In a bad situation, I was fortunate that it started on my hands and everything else is fine. I haven't felt the effects anywhere else.
Like all MND sufferers, there's no rule book on how the disease will play out. There is no cure. The medications available can only slow it down. In preparation for what's to come, he's now moved into disability housing in Brisbane, a far cry from a packed Suncorp stadium with 50,000 fans cheering him on.
How foreign is this new world for you that you've had to enter into?
At first, it's to accept it all. Well, it was quite difficult, but again, that's the condition. I had to accept it. Some days it is a struggle. Like I will have physically bad days where I can't do something that used to be very simple. And strength was a big thing for me. You know, like I was always strong.
What are some of those simple everyday tasks that are difficult for you now?
Oh, it's everything. Opening car doors, buttering bread, you know, trying to do buttons up on your kid's uniform. Anything that you can imagine, you know, is challenging now, and it's getting more challenging.
The father of 4 says spending time with his children and family is now his #1 focus.
How hard was it for you to tell your kids about your illness?
My oldest boy's fully aware. My 3 youngest will probably struggle. They do see the deterioration, and they know Daddy's sick, but to what extent is still a little confusing for them.
Carl Webb isn't alone in this battle. MND support services have been with him every step, along with the rugby league community and former teammates like Damon Keating.
When he was, you know, the big footy star, he was always a humble sort of guy, and I think that's helping him now with this process.
The pair became mates at the Brisbane Broncos 22 years ago when a teenage Carl Webb was out lifting everyone else at the gym.
It's hard to believe such a hard man on the field.
Yeah.
You would think nothing could stop Carl Webb, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate, those that know him know he's not your average Joe, and especially the powerhouse that he was, but he's just as inspiring now as he was when he was playing footy.
Carl Webb has scored his second Origin try. Queensland leading.
Just like on the footy field, Carl Webb is once again leading from the front. He wants to turn his diagnosis into something positive by creating the Carl Webb Foundation, raising money for all those battling MND.
Look, it just goes to the nature of the man, really. He right from the beginning, when he was first diagnosed, he was in contact with us, and he needed to sort of deal with the diagnosis, and then he's come back and said, I want to do some good.
Jane Milne is from MND and Me, one of the services assisting Carl and others like him on this journey who will now benefit from his fundraising.
So the Carl Webb support grants will help those people to be able to access funding for things that they can't ordinarily fund. They might need some bathroom modifications in their home. They might need a modification to their car. So they'll be able to apply for us.
The grants will be capped at $2,000 each, spreading the help to as many MND patients as possible.
Sure, it's a terrible condition. However, if I can make something positive of it through awareness and raising a little money, then I'm happy with that.
He's a very giving, generous person, and for him to be using his profile to sort of help MND sufferers and researchers and that, I think it's very noble, but that's just Carl.
When people think about Carl Webb, they remember you diving over for that famous try in the corner. How do you hope Carl Webb is remembered?
Yeah, for those moments in rugby league, but also I guess the legacy I left behind, the good things I did as well. My family and my friends and my children most of all.
The Origin legend says his diagnosis has made him appreciate his kids more than ever. The thought of not seeing them grow up, the most heartbreaking of all.
I think everyone can imagine that, but to go through it is something different, you know. Like that would be the biggest thing for me, is just to let them go.
Such a wicked disease. Carl Webb will launch his foundation in Brisbane tomorrow. If you'd like to help, the link is on our website.